Hey there, Monkeys here. And check out the scene behind me. Finally found an ice plain spikes biome. I've been looking for one of these for a long time, and here it is. It is pretty far from home base, but yeah, we finally found one. So now we finally have a source of packed ice. Can build all sorts of cool redstone projects with this stuff. So I'm just going to go ahead and collect a whole bunch, and then make the long trek back home. Okay, so we're back here at our crazy build. Check out all these villagers. They just keep spreading out. Hey, buddy. All over the place. So our packed ice safely tucked away. One other thing we need, not just for this build overall, but for the next mini project we're going to put in here, is a lot of ink sacs so that we can make some black stained glass. Be nice to get some dark prismarine too. But yeah, ink squids are pretty tedious to harvest by hand. We're going to need a lot of this stuff, so I figured, hey, why don't we build a squid farm here? This is going to be based on a design from Doc M77. I'm sure you've seen it before, the squid mother. So I'm going to get started by just digging out this area, put up some fences here for safety, given that we've got so many onlookers in the area, and yeah, I'll pull you back in once the pit's dug out. Check this out. I'm just clearing out some dark spots under where we dug our tunnel, and look at all these zombies. I don't know if you can see this in the dark, but there are a ridiculous number of zombies stuck here on the other side of this water. This is right underneath our box we just built. Holy crap. Well, I think we gotta clear these guys out. Okay, so our giant pit is dug out, and you can also see the frame for the water columns behind me. So the way this works is that squid spawn at between Y62 and Y46. So I've actually put this up at 63 just so that we can build a frame and the squid don't spawn in these little squares. We want them to spawn in the columns because what's going to happen is they'll swim out of those columns and then fall down below to glass floor with a collection system underneath. And I used fence gates instead of the original design. The original, they had used a trick involving melting ice, creating a suspended water column. For whatever reason, whether it's 1.11 or maybe it's just me, I couldn't get that to work. So I went with fence gates. They're a pain to put in, but I know that they'll be pretty reliable and not a weird trick that might break in a later Minecraft update. So like I said, down here we're going to put a glass floor at this level. Creates a 14 block drop for the squid to fall on, and then below that we're going to put a layer here with a minecart collection system that'll pick up all the ink sacs that are just kind of hovering on the glass floor. So I think what I'm going to do next is I'll put in the rest of the water columns up there, and then I'll get started on the minecart tracks, and I'll bring you back in after that. Okay, so our glass floor is in place. You can see we've got a hopper minecart running around on that track, and it's picking up all the ink sacs. So that guy's going to come around here. It's going to hop over onto this powered rail. Whenever there's stuff in the hopper minecart, it's going to turn on this comparator, hits that torch, and that unpowers the block that would kick off the minecart. So it'll stick around just long enough to unload into this chest, and once it's empty, it'll pop back out again. So super simple like this, and yeah, we're collecting a lot of stuff. So we've already got 2.5 stacks just in the time it took to set up recording this, and probably collected another 6 or 7 stacks just while laying down all the tracks and the base. So producing tons of ink. That's great. So last thing to do is just put a nice box around this and make sure that the squids aren't falling off the edge like this. Quite some time has passed, and this farm is now done. You can see we got a nice box around it. I'm using some light blue glass and prismarine, a little bit of lighting, and also added in some vines around the edges here. So these are going to grow all the way down, fill in all those gaps, cover up some of this ugly dirt and stone without having to do a lot of building to cover that up. So you're probably wondering, why are all these ink sacs lying around? Well, that's because we're all full. We've actually collected a full double chest of ink sacs already, so we are fully stocked now for anything we want to create. Going to make a lot of black stained glass, some dark prismarine for our next big project. And the neat side effect of the way this is set up, I changed it a little bit just to get it a couple blocks down, and also added in the slopes because I did find that sometimes the minecart kind of ended up on this second piece of track here, and then it wouldn't restart again. So with the slope, it seems to work really well, and when the hopper ends up backing up, as you can see here, we got some ink in there. That means that the minecart no longer runs, so that means this farm is going to be a little bit more quiet. We're going to end up having a lot of ink sacs kind of collecting here, but they'll eventually despawn and everything will be good. So we are all done with the squid farm. And one more update for you. We are finally, and I mean finally, this has been a long time coming, we are finally done clearing the entire second half of our build area. So that means we can get started building the second half of this building, and get closer and closer to completion. So been chipping away at this for quite a long time. I had quite a bit of help on this last quarter from Confit Croissant, our server's favorite pastry crafter, and I can't tell you how many times I've had to repair picks and shovels and axes just to get all this done. Just a crazy amount of space here. So the last thing I wanted to build this episode is a way to get up to the top section of the pyramid here. Our next project, the one that's going to use all that packed ice and the black stained glass, is going to happen up there. So thinking, why not build another cool minecart elevator, kind of the same one we did in the mountain base. Going to start at this point here. Oops, well, that stuff's got to move anyway. And it's going to be the same design. Going to tweak it a little bit just to make it fit into a pretty cool looking pillar that's going to be centered on this point here, and it'll fit into the overall design once we start filling in all this space. So enough explanation. Let's get on with the time lapse. And we are done, and check this thing out, stretching all the way above cloud level. Really like the look of this. I used some light blue glass, the bone blocks, which I've never used before, a little bit of white glass to trim it up here, and I did a little thing here to hide the pistons. So the way the design works is, unfortunately, these pistons do kind of stick out of the size of shape I wanted. So I put in some dropper blocks to kind of offset it and make it look like they're all part of the pattern, and looks pretty cool. Took a little while to get this tested and working right. I had to tweak the timing a bit since I changed the redstone up a little bit from the original design. And the other thing I did is, in here we need to use some immovable blocks for the slime blocks, not to move them. And normally you do use melon or furnaces, but I thought, hey, let's use note blocks. Gives our elevator a nice kind of wood panel design all the way up, and also adds a neat little sound effect. So if you can hear that over all the piston noise, just a little sound that gets increasingly higher as we go up. So that's going to be it for this episode. As always, I'm Monkeys, and if you like this episode, if you want to leave me feedback down below, always appreciate it. If you want to stay up to date with what I'm doing, please go ahead and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.